welcome to this India Today special, where today my colleague Anisha Mathur, who tracks the Supreme Court, and me are joined by a very special guest, the just retired Chief Justice of India, Justice B.R. Gavai. Thank you very much, Justice Gavai, for joining us.
Thank you, Rajiv. Thank you, Anisha.
22 years on the bench, and you finally retired. Do you feel a little lost that you no longer will be on the bench, or are you relaxed with no withdrawal symptoms?
Absolutely relaxed. You know when you are going to retire long back. And as I said on a Thursday evening at a Scora function, that I was already relaxed because the last of the judgments which I had to deliver, and two important judgments, one on a presidential reference and one regard to protection of Aravallis, I had pronounced them in different combinations on Thursday afternoon, and after that I was fully relaxed. And as days have gone by, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, I'm feeling more and more
You're
relaxed.
not missing it.
No, I'm not.
You're not missing being on the bench.
Yeah.
The fact is, Justice Gavai, you had a very short term as Chief Justice, about just over 6 months. And many believe that is too little a time to bring in major institutional reforms. However, there are those who say that could Justice Gavai have done more to protect judicial independence and rolled back or pushed back against what is seen as a very dominating political executive? How do you respond to those who say that judicial independence now is being increasingly compromised?
I totally disagree with that narrative. The Indian judiciary is strong, independent, and the allegation that we are not that strong or independent is totally without any basis.
Can I give you two examples before?
I will just give you an example.
Yeah, please go ahead.
On a day, 2 days prior to my retirement, I set aside the enactment with regard to the service conditions of the tribunals. The matter was pending for long, and I have clearly held in that judgment that independence of judiciary is one of the important facets of the basic structure of the Constitution. I have also held that the certain provisions in that act were tinkering with the independence of the tribunal members, and the tribunals were also an important part of the judiciary, and I set aside certain provisions of the enactment. See, I always believe that the Constitution is supreme. You might have heard about the debates going on before some period of a year back or 1.5 years back. One of the constitutional functionaries, I don't want to name, used to say that the parliament is supreme and not the judiciary. And I, on a public platform, had on more than one occasion said that neither the judiciary nor the parliament are supreme. What is supreme is the Constitution.
You're referring to former Vice President.
I don't want to. I don't
okay, so you're saying Constitution is supreme, not the Parliament.
Yes, and under the Constitution, the areas have been earmarked for all the 3 wings: the Parliament, the Legislature, that's the Legislature, the Executive, and the Judiciary. And as the judges, we are only empowered to interpret the Constitution.
But what happens today if a governor continues to sit on bills even today, drawing on your advisory opinion?
Have you read our operative part?
You've said
that... I
have
have clearly held that the governor has to choose between 3 options.
Yes.
And if he doesn't exercise any of the options and sits endlessly over the bill, the limited power of judicial review is always available to the constitutional courts of the country.
So you believe that limited power of the judicial review is still there even to look at governor's actions, and therefore you're saying it is not as if you've given a license to governors?
Absolutely no.
There's no license to governors to sit endlessly on bills.
Yeah, but at the same time, we can't take over the functions of the parliament and the legislature upon ourselves.
Okay, let me give you another example. Bulldozer justice. Many believe that was one of the most important judgments you passed, in fact, before you became Chief Justice last year, where you said very clearly that rule of law prevails over rule of the bulldozer. That if someone bulldozes someone's house without following due process, that's a transgression of the law. What happens, sir, since we've had several states, Uttar Pradesh, Uttarakhand, Madhya Pradesh, where contempt petitions have been filed because there are bulldozers still operating. You did not even hear them. Is it because you didn't want to tangle with the executive on even the critical issue of bulldozer justice?
It's totally wrong. I always said in my speeches, the farewell speech also, that Bulldozer Justice judgment, popularly known as regarding demolition of structures, is very close to my heart. I always believe that rule of law is supreme, and no executive can take over the functions of the judiciary.
So why didn't you then hear the contempt petition?
Can you permit me to answer?
Yeah, sure, sir.
If you go through my record of last 6 years, I have hardly taken any holidays. The only 2 holidays I take in a year are on my father's birthday, birth anniversary and death anniversary. And on other days, even on Mondays, I have been sitting till 4 o'clock. Normally, the courts rise after the magistrate's work is over. But even on Mondays, I have been sitting till 4 o'clock. On Fridays, if I am required to go out, maybe I get up little earlier. And in that period of time, whatever priorities were before me, I tried to note out that the contempt petitions were filed, and I also already issued notices. I also, while issuing notices, we had passed an order in strong terms. Unfortunately, those matters could not come because there were other pressing matters. I had to decide that if you go through my record of last couple of years, I have delivered so many judgments with regard to bringing reforms.
So before
in the
Anisha
judiciary.
steps in, we are very clear that you...
And on environment also. On
Yes.
environment, I must
That is where